Hello, my name's Tonya. I'm a personal trainer and a mum of 5. This is my podcast, Live Yourself Better, and it's for busy people just like you. Hello everybody, how are you? It's been a little while. So today's episode is all about walking. Walking is simple, it's free, it's effective, and yet it's often overlooked as a form of exercise. So today I'm going to give us a reminder of all of the wonderful benefits of walking, some of the free apps that you can use to support you, and also some really cool ways to increase your step count and to make walking into a habit. So stay tuned. So let's have a look at some of the benefits of walking. First of all, heart health. Regular walking helps lower blood pressure, reduce the risk of heart disease, and improve overall cardiovascular health. It can also help with weight management. So it can aid weight loss, but also the maintenance of that weight loss. And I've spoken before about the importance of sustainable health and fitness. So it's not thinking in terms of going on a diet, but it's thinking in terms of lifestyle fitness. What am I going to start doing that I'm going to be able to keep doing? And walking is just such a no-brainer when it comes to sustainable fitness, because if you are able to get out there and walk and move around, then you're going to be able to gain the health benefits that comes with that. Can also help to gain stronger muscles and bones, because walking helps to build and maintain muscle mass and bone density, especially important as we age. Now, there's a trend called rucking, where people are walking with a weighted backpack, and actually adding weight to your body can assist with the development of muscles and the retention of bone density, because you're adding extra resistance to the walk. But that can be done in the form of a belt or a body vest, a weighted vest, or weighting your ankles, any part of your body. But the most important thing is choose a weight that's appropriate to yourself. Make sure that whatever you're carrying, so whether that be a backpack or however the weight is attached to you, that it's done properly, effectively and safely, because otherwise you can cause yourself problems, certainly with posture or increasing the risk of injury. So do make sure that it is fitted correctly. We can also benefit from improved balance and coordination. So walking, especially on an uneven surface, and let's face it, out and about in the countryside, there's a lot of uneven surfaces. Just make sure that you've got the correct footwear, and if necessary, if you need to use a stick for walking or a pole to help you to get up slopes, or just for that extra bit of stability, then there are plenty of different types out there. There's something for everybody, so do have a good look around. But equally, you don't need to spend any money on walking, as long as you've got the correct footwear that you can put on, for example trainers, or if you're going off-road, then walking shoes can often be great for that and can help to prevent slips and falls. Also, what's really good for balance and coordination is toe walking and heel walking. So for example, you get up onto your toes and take, say, 10 or 15 steps forwards, and do the same. You can do the same backwards, or just simply turn around and take the 10 or 15 steps back to where you started. Repeat that around 3 times, and then change to your heels. So you're walking along your heels, either forwards and then backwards, or forwards and then turn around and come back the way you came. This can really help to improve balance. If you're not confident walking on your toes or walking on your heels, you can just do toe or heel raises. So that's simply raising up onto your toes or raising back up onto your heels whilst holding onto a chair, a wall, or another stable surface. As we get older, improving our balance and coordination is helping to reduce the risk of trips and falls. Also, walking can reduce the risk overall of chronic diseases, such as type 2 diabetes, strokes, and certain cancers. There are also mental health benefits to walking, so it can reduce stress, Walking in nature can help to reduce anxiety and stress levels. Just sometimes being out in nature, walking amongst the trees, the grass, the plants, hearing the birds, it's just such a lovely experience, and it's so calming and grounding. And I know when I go for a walk locally, whatever problems I've got going on or whatever difficulties I'm facing, suddenly they just seem to be a bit more approachable. I'm not going to say easier, because often life isn't easy, but just having that headspace to think, to breathe, to take in the environment, it can just help so much. There's also a link to improved mood, so the release of endorphins during exercise, it can boost feelings of depression, combat feelings of depression, it can boost your overall mood. I think, you often go for a walk and come back and just feel so much better. In turn, it can lead to better quality of sleep, because obviously if we're out and we're taking physical activity, then we're going to sleep and relax better than we otherwise would. So, and that again has huge knock-on effects towards our mental health. If we're sleeping well, if we're getting rested, if our brain's getting enough time to process what's happening and regenerate our cells within our body, just relax properly, then we're ready to start the next day. There are also social benefits to walking, so you can get a real community connection walking together with other people, whether that's friends and family, or whether you go meet new people joining walking groups or clubs. Most walking groups will be happy for you to go along and trial a session, and many are free ongoing. So it's worth having a look what's around. Look at the community pages. They're sometimes on Facebook, maybe in your local GP practice, the pharmacies, health centres, libraries. There can be posters even in supermarkets on the community notice boards, and just asking around as well, asking people, do you know of any walking groups? It's amazing what knowledge people hold of things that are going on. I know I've been signposted to a local walking group by a friend, and actually I've just started in collaboration with Studio 27 in Boldmere. We've set up some local walk and talk sessions. So throughout the month of September, because we're doing the Habit Changer Challenge September on Live Yourself Better, it fitted in really well to start doing local walking sessions, because we believe that there's a need for reduction of loneliness and isolation in the community. People may be in their houses wanting to go for a walk with somebody, and yet, oh well, they'll be busy, or I don't know who to ask, or actually I've got all of this housework or all of this computer work, or people are at work in the office, I can't get out. So we've scheduled the walks at different times of the day, different times of the week, and we're just going to see if it becomes a popular thing, which it's looking as though it's going to be. It will be something that's continued in the long run. So if you live in Birmingham, if you live local to Sutton Coldfield, come along. We've got beautiful Sutton Park, and many areas, even the most urban areas, have park spaces or have green spaces. Sutton Park is huge and it's wonderful, and there's so many different things there to see. On our walk on Friday evening, there were cows literally just strolling along past us. They've also got wild Exmoor ponies up there too, and it's just a lovely place. So do come along. If you have a look at my website, liveyoubetter.biz, on the homepage there's a little sign up box. You can put your email in and you will receive updates about the walk and talk times. And for everyone else who's elsewhere in the world, have a look locally and see what walking groups, what walking sessions are happening close to you. And if there aren't any happening, maybe consider setting up your own. Just see. Over time, these things do tend to build and they grow in popularity. And I often work on the basis of, well, if I'm sitting here feeling something, there's going to be someone else out there that feels the same way. So it's a great way to connect with like-minded people too. Now for some helpful tips, ways to increase the amount you're walking. So the best way to do it is to make it into a habit. The way we make something into a habit is by incorporating it into our routine for such a length of time that it just becomes something that we naturally do. And I believe that the time frame for developing a habit is considered to be around about 9 months. And I've said this before on the Changing Habits podcast, certainly inspired by James Clear. and he speaks a lot about habits, that some of the things we do, such as cleaning our teeth in the morning, this was not always a habit. There was some point when we had to be taught to do that, but now it should be second nature. And eventually that's what happens. When we do something enough, it just becomes something that we do without really thinking much about it. So some suggestions: you could make walking part of your journey to work, or you could walk the children to school if possible, or park a bit further away from school. Sometimes people don't want to do this because we are in the habit. We're creatures of habit. We do the same thing, and we know the kids will get to school on time. But actually, when schools were built, people didn't really many people didn't drive. Perhaps some schools were built before cars were even invented. So most schools don't have car parks that parents can use. Most of them are in residential areas. Much of the time in the morning it can be chaos for the people that are dropping the children off, for the local residents. So actually, parking a bit further away and walking, it can really help to reduce the stress of the morning, and you'll often find that it's easier to park somewhere as well. So of course, if you're in the middle of a city and there's lots and lots of restrictions on parking, then it's going to be more challenging. So as with everything, things do require planning, and not everything is possible for everyone. But if we do what we can within our own routines, just to increase even 20 paces away from where you are, that's an increase. So everything is going to count. And of course, it teaches our children really great habits as well. If you can walk to the local shops instead of taking the car, so if you need to go and get milk and bread, is it possible just to walk out there and do it instead of driving? Let's consider, when does driving just become the default option, and is it always necessary? So it's looking for those opportunities within the week where you can get in some extra steps. Leaving the car behind completely. I went to an event not so long ago and I realised it's about a 45 minutes walk. I hadn't been very active during the day, and I thought, well, I'll just walk there and walk back. And I had the time to be able to do that, and it was just really nice. It was lovely to have an evening walk. Doing a regular walk with a friend, as I mentioned about setting up the walking groups, certainly benefits me as well, because I know if I've committed to go for a walk at a certain time, I will go, especially if there are other people who are relying on me to be there. If I've made a commitment, then I will keep that commitment. And I've just recently started going for walks with a really good friend of mine, and we're both so busy that it's been difficult over the years to find time to meet, but now we're finding the time to walk together, and it's lovely. And I've been doing the same thing with my mum as well, because having such a busy life, having 5 kids and having all different work contracts that I have, because I work as a personal trainer, a health coach, a writer, plus many other things as well. So sometimes mum and we just pass each other, or perhaps when she has my youngest, and I don't really get the chance to speak to mum. So it's been really nice to schedule in those walks, because, you know, time is precious and we want to make the most of the time that we have with each other. Another tip is going for a walk or stroll after lunch, after dinner, after breakfast even, and trying not to apply polarised thinking. So it's not all or nothing, and I'll talk about steps in a minute. Going for a walk can be 5 minutes. The NHS recommends a brisk 10-minute walk every day. So it doesn't need to be overcomplicated, and it doesn't need to be time intensive. It's just a case of just go out and just do it. And there are a couple of apps that can support you in increasing the amount you're walking. So one is Map My Walk. I love Map My Walk because it will tell you the route you've taken, your walking speed. You can save your routes as well, and you can it's really nice to look back on what the walks that you've done and to see and remember them. And there's lots more features to the app as well, and it's free. There's also the Active 10 app, which is recommended on the NHS, and that's really useful for helping to get in your brisk 10-minute walk every day. You can set your own targets, and it will also measure your walking pace and tell you ways to increase your walking to a brisk walk, because we know that just 10 minutes of brisk walking can bring additional health benefits. So do go and check that out. It should be in the App Store. It's Active and then the number 10. And the other thing with step counts as well is they're not very inclusive, for example, of wheelchair users. There are conversion charts online where you can convert the speed at which you're pushing, the distance you're travelling, and that will convert it into a step count. I have seen also wheelchair pushes used as a guide. And there are also apps that can help you to measure and monitor the time, the speed and the distance covered, so that you can create tailored goals to your own needs, and also you can support your health by doing things that are achievable. And I will move on now to talk about the SMART goal setting and how important that is for all of us. Make sure your goals are SMART. So this is for everybody. Every goal must fit this acronym, and if it does, the chances of success are going to be higher. Just vaguely saying, I'm going to move more this week, I'm going to go out for 30 minutes, but not actually committing a time or fitting it in the diary or looking at whether it's possible, it diminishes the chances of that goal being reached. So specific, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes, measurable, 3 times this week, achievable. Yes, I can do it. Realistic. A 30-minute walk for me is fine, and time bound, well, that's going to be on Monday the 9th, Tuesday the 10th and Friday the 13th. I'm going to do those things at this time. So you can see that applying SMART to your goal setting will increase the chances of the activity happening, and of course over time it increases the chances of the activity becoming a habit. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. That brings us to the end now. So hopefully you'll go away with some ideas about how to increase your movement, how to increase your step count, and some things that perhaps you can do locally. And do remember, if you live local to Birmingham and you're able to come along to the walks in Sutton Coldfield, it would be lovely to see you there. You just simply need to sign up on the website. Thank you for listening, and I will see you again soon. Bye. You can find my website, Live Yourself Better, at LiveYou better, BETTER.biz, and you'll find links to all of my social medias on my website. See you soon.